What if your birthday and your name held a kind of secret code? A code that could tell you about your personality, maybe even your destiny? Well, today we're diving into numerology, a system that claims to do just that using just three simple numbers. So let's just jump right in with this idea from our source material, linking the microcosm with the macrocosm. What does that even mean? Well, it's the core belief here that your personal world, you, the macrocosm, is basically a tiny reflection of the entire universe, the macrocosm. Okay, so if you're a reflection of the universe, how do you read that reflection? This system suggests it all comes down to a pretty simple code. It asks the question, what if just three key numbers could give you a whole new perspective on who you are and where you're headed? So let's get into it. This is really a key to behavior. And you might be thinking, this is all about complicated mathematics, but it's really not. Instead, you got to think of numbers as symbols for different cosmic energies that kind of shape who we are. And the goal here isn't to judge or stick people in boxes. It's really about self-awareness. It's the idea that by understanding your own natural flow, you can stop fighting against yourself, save a ton of energy, and just find a more harmonious way to live. All right, so how does this whole thing work? Well, the entire system is built on just 9 primary numbers. That's it. These are like the fundamental building blocks of personality, and each one has its own special cosmic vibe. And here's the most important rule of the game. Everything, and I mean everything, boils down to the numbers 1 through 9. Any number bigger than 9 gets reduced just by adding its digits together. So a number like 12 isn't really 12, it becomes 1 plus 2, which is 3. Simple as that. And this is where things get really interesting. You can see how those cosmic connections are all mapped out. Each number, 1 through 9, is linked to a planet that gives it these specific qualities. Like number 1 is ruled by the sun, so it's got that authoritative, royal feel. Or number 7, linked to Ketu, is mystical and intuitive. This chart is basically the decoder ring for the whole system. So on top of that, the numbers are also split into 2 different teams, you could say. You've got the odd numbers, which are described as solar and masculine. Think dynamic, electrical, outward moving energy. And then you have the even numbers, lunar, feminine, which are more about stability, magnetic, and receptive energy. Okay, so we've got the building blocks. Now let's talk about how they come together to form your own personal code. According to this system, every single one of us is influenced by 3 main numbers that, together, tell a story about who we are. First up is your psychic number. This one's easy. It just comes from the day of the month you were born. This number is all about how you see yourself. It's your inner world, your secret ambitions, your desires. And they say it's most powerful in the first half of your life. So if the psychic number is your inner you, the destiny number is your outer journey. This one's calculated from your full birthday, day, month, and year. It represents the path you're on, what you're here to do, and how other people see you. And its influence supposedly kicks in more after you turn 35. And finally, there's the name number. This one comes from the letters in your name, the name everyone knows you by. This number is all about your social life, your relationships, basically how you interact with the world around you. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how do I find my numbers? Well, it's actually pretty straightforward. Let's just walk through it with an example from the author of our source material himself, Harish Johari. All right, let's start with the psychic number. This one's a piece of cake. You just take the day you were born. In this example, the author was born on the 12th. So you just do 1 plus 2, and that gives you 3. His psychic number is 3. If you were born on, say, the 8th of the month, well, you're already done. Your number is 8. Now for the destiny number. This one's got a bit more addition, but the rule is exactly the same. You take every single digit in your full birth date, the month, the day, the year, and just add them all up. And you keep adding until you get to one single digit. So in this case, all of that adds up to 25, and then 2 plus 5 gives you 7. Okay, so you do the math, you've got your 3 numbers. Now what? What's the point? And this is maybe the most important part. This isn't about telling the future or putting you in a box. It's meant to be a tool for understanding yourself. And the benefits are really all about making life a little bit easier, a little more harmonious. It's about understanding your own nature, both the good and the bad. It's about accepting your own weaknesses and maybe even having more compassion for others. And it's a way to save all that energy you might be wasting trying to be someone you're not. And this is so, so important to remember. There are no good numbers or bad numbers. Every single number has its own strengths and its own challenges. There's no best number to beat, they're just different paths.
So, as we wrap this up, the real question isn't whether any of this is true in some scientific sense. The real question is, can this give you a new lens to look at your life? So go ahead, find your numbers. You might just be surprised by the patterns you start to see in the cosmic play of your own life.